Familiarity causes more suffering than growth. Familiarity is what keeps you in pain instead of taking the leap. Familiarity is what says, hey, that feels uncomfortable. We're not sure about this. I don't know about this pain. Maybe we should go back to the life we were always living. Is this really worth it? Familiarity is what whispers in your ear when nothing seems to be working. Familiarity says, yeah, this really isn't going anywhere. You're wasting your time. Familiarity holds hands with comfort, and comfort holds the most prisoners in all of the world. Yet it doesn't feel like a prison. But every time we break away from the comfort, we always feel that pull to go back. Our brain always wants that pleasure. It wants that ease. It doesn't want to feel all these feelings that we have to feel if we want to grow. But too many of us fall into the trap. We think just because something is uncomfortable means that we shouldn't do it. But the uncomfortability is the only place that you can grow. How can you grow being comfortable? There's no limits being tested. Comfort is a weapon that gets used against you. The comfort doesn't always have to feel good. That's why it holds hands with familiarity. Regardless of how much pain we're in living the life that we're living, it's comfortable to stay in what is familiar. It's comfortable to not have to change. When we have to change, when we walk down a different path, it becomes scary. It's uncertain. It causes us to have faith, where faith isn't a feeling. Faith says, I know all work works according to what God has told me. In all labor there is profit. So therefore, if it's not working for me, then I have to become the kind of person who it can work for. So therefore, it must work on me. But we forget that the process is where we're made. The process is what gets us to the level that we want to live on. But because of the age that we live in, everything happens so quickly. We expect the same things to happen for the life that we want. We think that we can just get into the fast lane, no traffic, and just full speed ahead, pedal to the metal. But it doesn't work that way. There's going to be people who slow you down. There's going to be people who get in the way, and you have to hop out of the fast lane, get into another lane, get blocked again, get into another lane, and then swerve around some people, slow down, get stuck in traffic. Then you're going to have to watch people cut you off, and then you have to cut them off. And there's a lot that goes into it. And it's something that we don't think about when we're in the moment because our brain is trained the wrong way. We take the wrong perspective. If we just shifted our mindset and said, the reason why I feel this way is because it's working on me. I was just in the sauna an hour ago, fighting for my life, it felt like. I got to the point where I felt like quitting. And then I gave myself the goal, not out of arrogance, but out of self-growth, because I know in the moment I'm growing. I'm in the moment where I feel like quitting, where all the voice in my head is saying, get out, lean over, break your posture down, drop your level down so that you don't have to be so in this heat. But I said, I'm not going to fold. I'm not going to drop down to a lower level, at least until this person gets out of the sauna. When I choose a random person as the goal to get out of the sauna, there's no telling when they're going to get out of the sauna. So there's a big question mark in my head. And that causes the voice to get louder. it started trying to compromise. There were other people in the sauna, so the voice said, well, you know what, at this point, let anybody leave, and then we can do this. But that wasn't the original goal. The original target was one specific person. So this is the same thing that's going to happen to us whenever we go to change, whenever we try to grow. We're always going to have our mind that says these things that try to get us to get out of the thing that is growing us. All the time that I spent in the sauna before I felt like quitting, that didn't really matter. That didn't really make any difference. That didn't help me grow. But when I crossed the threshold and got to the point where I felt like quitting, then that's when the growth started. So that's how we have to tell ourselves. That's how we have to talk to ourselves when we're in the moment. This is the time where I'm growing. When it is the most uncomfortable, when it's the most painful, when we are suffering, struggling the most, we have to tell ourselves, this is the time to grow. These are the most important moments for growth. Without these moments, without these thoughts trying to convince me to get out of the feeling that I'm feeling, I cannot get to the level in which I came in here for. You didn't start on this path of growth to just grow a little bit. You started on this path of growth to fulfill who you were called to be, who you're meant to be, who you're capable of being, what your purpose is, to grasp hold of that and then live that. You're highly capable. All it takes is a shift in your mindset to decide that you're going to execute regardless of how you feel. When these feelings that pop up and say, you don't have to do this, leave, quit, run away, go the other direction, go do this comfortable thing instead. When those voices come up, you have to remember that that's the perfect opportunity for you. If you're able to do that and then alter your actions in the moment, lean into it a little bit more, then everything starts to change. You start to become more powerful, stronger, sharper, more knowledgeable, wiser. But you're not going to see it in the moment. So you have to, again, shield yourself from the discouragement that arises when it says that, hey, there's nothing is working here. But if you can't see it working on the outside, just know that it's working on the inside.